Well, LifeBlood, this is George G, and the time is right. Welcome to today's guest, strong and powerful Rebekah Arrigoni. Rebekah, are you ready to do this?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go. Rebekah is the CEO of Loti. They're a company dedicated to helping people regain their online privacy by utilizing facial recognition technology and identifying whether or not there are any intimate images or videos on the internet of you. Rebekah, tell us a little bit about your personal life, some more about your work, why you do what you do.
Yeah, I'm married with 3 kids. I live in Seattle. I have a giant puppy that's about 90 pounds, and that takes up a lot of my time, along with, starting a brand new company. But it's been really exciting. We've been having a lot of fun with it.
3 kids and a 90-pound dog. Is the dog the
Yeah.
largest of the children?
He's a Bernese Mountain Dog, and he is the largest child. Yes.
Was the dog there before the kids or
No,
during or
we got him just a year ago. So he's been a very welcome addition, but he is definitely a lot of work. He's a big dog, so
yeah.
that's why I do weightlifting though.
Okay, now it all makes sense.
Right.
So Lodi, how did that come to be?
Yeah, so I had run operations for another AI company, and we were working on a facial recognition project for another company. And we started thinking up the idea for Loti. And, with this client's permission, we kind of used a similar algorithms and data set to kind of, create this product. And we still use facial recognition, and we basically can find out if people have any non-consensual intimate images or videos on the internet, also known as revenge porn. And then Loti can help users take those images or videos down via the federal law called the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, or the DMCA.
So you became familiar with with the technology that could and does
Mhm.
um, fix this problem. But
Yeah, absolutely.
what was the motivator? Did you came to realize, wow, this is a huge problem?
Yeah, so I mean, I am not a victim of revenge porn, but there was a point in my life that I was sexually assaulted, and that does stick with you. You think, what if there are photos or images of me during this really intimate moment? And for millions of people, in fact, 1 in 3 women are sexually assaulted. They don't know if these images could potentially be out there. 10 million people in the United States are affected by intimate image abuse, also known as revenge porn. These terms are often interchangeable, but image abuse is the more preferred term because it isn't actually about revenge. It could be someone's voyeuristic pleasure. And more importantly, the word revenge also implies that the victim did something that was deserving of this act. The word porn conflates nude photos of oneself and materials that are meant for public consumption. And so I do use the word revenge porn because colloquially known, that's what it's known for, but often what people are searching also. But when they do want more information about it, we do use the term intimate image abuse.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
It's a way better term. So 10 million people, and that's probably an estimate. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a lot higher than that.
Absolutely. It's just what's reported. And that's, of course, many people don't, it does go unreported.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hmm. All right. And so you mentioned that there is an existing law. What was that again?
Yeah, so there is no federal regulations around specifically non-consensual intimate images, but there is kind of a way around it, and it's called the DMCA, or the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And essentially, people are able to use this act by saying that I did not give consent for my image or my video to be uploaded to the internet it was done without my consent. And so they're able to enforce this law. So it doesn't affect the hosting sites that are hosting the images or the videos, but it does allow the person who's in the media to be able to get that image taken down. There are
Interesting.
some state laws that do, so there are the majority of state laws that do have laws prohibiting this. ranges from a misdemeanor to a felony. But it's been a difficult process to enforce and process. And it can also be pretty traumatizing for the victims.
I'm sure. All right. So how does Loti actually work? Like, how does it know what's what is or what's not on the internet?
Yeah. So what we do is we have a whole team of data scientists and engineers, and we're able to essentially collect all public images and videos from user-generated adult websites. So we're not going after anything that's professional. It's what's user-generated, and it's not behind a paywall. And so what people can do is, if they are wanting to see if they have any media out there that has been uploaded without their consent, they're able to go to the site and upload a profile picture of themselves. We're able to essentially use data points that can map their face, and then we match those to the data sets that we have already, and then we'll serve them those results.
Okay. So if I'm curious, you can use an image of my face and use the resources you have, and
Mhm.
it pops up and said, oh, okay, actually, George, there are some images of you or some videos of you on this one or two, whatever it might be, this website.
Right.
And due to the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, what what can I do? What happens from there?
Yeah. So our data sets, we do have about a 98% accuracy. So we do have thresholds in place. So even if we're not totally sure about an image, we do still show it to you just in case there isn't a match. And then if there is a match, the users are able to essentially save this to like an inbox, and then we will assist them through that DMCA takedown process. We do, it isn't like secret information. You don't need to go through a service. We actually do highlight it on our website, how people can remove it themselves. Sometimes it can be pretty lengthy, and oftentimes we found that the hosting sites won't actually remove it unless there's like a lawyer involved, or it's looking like the request is more professional. And so when we come in, we actually have a formal letter that we send to these companies requesting that it gets taken down. And that's been about 2 days turnaround time, but we haven't seen it more than 2 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
And worst case scenario, we we find my image on XYZ site.
Mhm.
We send them, we follow the steps, we submit a letter to them, and they don't respond, or they tell me to get lost. What is there a legal intervention available to me?
There is, not through our company, but we do offer resources for people to be able to reach out. There are a bunch of established nonprofits and other companies in this space already. And we are developing partnerships with some of the nonprofits as well, so that we can even get access to Loti to the people who really do need it and may not be able to afford it. We do try to make it an affordable option for individuals as well as content creators, because individuals aren't just victims of non-consensual intimate images and media being uploaded without consent. There are content creators in the same space that are trying to make a living, and people are stealing their content,
Hmm.
and so we're able to find that as well. So if we aren't able to get it taken down, which so far we've had a pretty high success rate, I can think of just a couple where we've had to have like a human intervention with it. But we do offer resources for people to find lawyers or other options.
Interesting. That
Mhm.
that certainly, if I am a content creator, and it is the way that I earn a living, is to sell images of myself, and then all of a sudden somebody's stealing it and putting it out there where people can access it without paying, then that is a
Mhm.
huge problem. I hadn't thought about
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
So, are there a finite number of, I think you mentioned it's user generated sites. How many
Yes.
are there? Is it an infinite number? Is it hundreds,
It
thousands?
really is. It's millions. We've gone through millions of images and videos so far, and we're constantly adding new information with our system, so that way people can even just set up automatic alerts. So say somebody signs on and wants to see if there's anything of them, and there isn't, thankfully. Um, there's always new user-generated content being added all the time. And so we will keep going back to those sites and then keep checking for people.
Do you think that hmm, are we becoming more aware of the risk of this as we live in a more digital age of putting our own images online? Are we doing that less? I guess the question is, do you see trends?
Yeah, absolutely. We've noticed that it looks like it's affecting people between the ages of 18 and 34, which makes sense because those are the generations that have had more access to technology and phones and sharing of media. And there have been so many reports that are so many instances of this that have just gone unreported. But also because of the fact that we do have more technology, it's just more easy. It's just easier for people to be able to find this information now, and then take it down, or in the past I feel like that wasn't really even an option, because people just didn't even know that it was even out there.
Yeah, interesting. Is there an appetite from a legislative perspective? I think that you mentioned that there are certain states or municipalities that have laws in place, but do you see um, more laws on the horizon?
I do actually. We actually have a lawmaker in Washington that is starting to take more initiatives with revenge porn. And we're actually really hoping to be able to kind of get on the ground floor with a lot of the legislation around it, especially with using AI and facial recognition. I think there's a lot of misinformation around the use of AI and facial recognition, and a lot of ethics that go involved with it. It's a really new technology and it's changing so quickly. We try to be as transparent as possible with, what media we are looking at, what we keep from users. In fact, we have it's by default. There is no data that's saved from users aside from the one profile picture that they upload themselves. But we don't do any training on any of the information that's uploaded. We do really believe that that people's image should have autonomy with that. I mean, it really does go against the whole ethos of our company. We're trying to get these images and videos taken down for people. So we are not going to be a part of hanging on to this biometric data of other people, but we do want to have a say. We do want to have sort of an influence in the legislative sphere. I think that there's a lot of misinformation around it, but also a lot of room for growth and just to have these tools available to people.
Well, I couldn't agree more. You're familiar with the name, image, and likeness
Mhm.
deal with the NCAA athletes. Do you see parallels of any kind?
Yeah, so we actually have some people in our sphere that are also working with like deep fakes, and trying to find trying to basically being able to invoke the DMC Act with that as well. Right now, Loti is specifically just focusing on adult content, and user generated specifically at that. But I do think that this technology will eventually be able to cross over into other sectors, and even help with maybe just like overall reputation management. We're definitely not there yet. We definitely just want to keep our focus a little bit smaller and specifically help these people. It's disproportionately affecting women and LGBTQIA plus communities. And so this is kind of where we're wanting to keep our focus right now.
What is the breakdown, just roughly?
Oh, I don't have that stat specifically. I can definitely get that back to you, but it is mostly women and then LGBTQIA plus communities. Men are of course affected. I think that it's probably underreported just because of the stigma around men's mental health and asking for support and just sexual assault in general. But from the stats that we have, it's disproportionately affecting these other groups.
Got it.
Mhm.
What do you wish that more people knew about this?
I do hope that it does open up more conversations just around non-consensual intimate images and media in general, and more conversations around AI and facial recognition and ethics. I do think that Loti is going to be able to provide a really amazing service for people, and also content creators too, being able to keep track of just their media and maintaining their income as well.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, certainly. So, how can walk us through the process for working with Lodi and just
Yeah,
how it all works?
absolutely. So people can head over to goloti.com. We have multiple blog posts highlighting how to do a DMCA takedown on your own, romantic and platonic relationships and dating advice that has been researched and written by our on-staff psychologist. And then in-depth explanations about how Loti works. We do offer resources for victims and are actually working, on more partnerships with multiple nonprofits just to be able to bring Loti to people for free as well. There are multiple plans to help individuals and, of course, creators search for content and be able to get it removed if Loti found anything. And then we have our whole onboarding flow. People can do an initial search just by uploading a simple profile image. We'll walk them through that first search and then serve them their results. There is no initial commitment, payment, just a free search that people get to do and have peace of mind.
Love it. Well, if you enjoyed as much as I did, show Rebekah your appreciation and share today's show with a friend who also appreciates good ideas. Go to goloti.com. It's GOLOTI.com and learn about the DMCA process, the DMCA takedown process. Check out the dating advice that they've put together and take advantage of the free search as well. Thanks again, Rebekah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And until next time, remember, do your part by doing your best.